Hey guys, it's Z here, and today we're going to be doing the third part of what if Gohan went Super Saiyan against Vegeta. I definitely think you guys are going to like this part, and as you can tell from the thumbnail, it's going to be good. I don't want to spoil the experience for you guys, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Look, talker since a jet. Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school.
Vegeta takes a step back in absolute fear of the sight in front of him. He then thinks, no, I'm Prince Vegeta, I'm now stronger than ever and I'm not willing to step down now. He releases as much ki as possible, then charges up a ki blast. He launches it towards him and it hits him. The smoke cloaks the final form Frieza and he says, finally, I've taken down. He stops talking once he still feels the power coming from within the smoke. Frieza then reveals himself in tip-top condition. Frieza then looks to Krillin and says, let's take out Baldy over here. He blitzes towards Krillin with his newfound speed and punches him in his gut. He throws him up slightly, then stabs his horn into his chest, just like in canon. He leaps up to super high speeds and hurls Krillin into the water next to them. Frieza lands once again and Vegeta is very scared as of now. He stands against him with ease and then they flies over to go and get Krillin. Frieza looks over to him, but Vegeta stops him and says, your fight is with me, Frieza. Frieza laughs and says, getting a soft heart for your friends, huh, Vegeta? Vegeta laughs himself and says, don't group me in with those scum. I am the prince of all Saiyans, Vegeta. His pure silver aura takes over and he flies right towards Frieza. Their punches clash and Vegeta quickly notices what he's gotten into. Frieza swing kicks Vegeta back several meters and launches a simple ki blast in his direction. Vegeta slams his feet into the floor and raises his hands up in front of him, but someone stands in front of him instead. Piccolo. Vegeta thinks the Namekian? Piccolo turns and says, you might remember me. Either way, I'm here to save you. He turns back to lock eyes with Frieza and says, this party's over, Frieza. Frieza smirks and says, don't think that because you stopped a simple blast from me that you can win. Piccolo chuckles and says, I possess power well above what he's just showcased. Frieza makes a battle stance and says, I'm looking forward to it then. Piccolo blasts out his ki and raises his power level to the max. He flies over to Frieza and punches him. He throws two more punches that land cleanly, then he follows by launching a close-up ki blast. Frieza just about dodges and punches him in his gut. Frieza kicks him away, then grasps onto his arm with his tail and slams him into the floor. He goes in to slam his head, but Piccolo quickly flips around and blocks the hit. Right after, he stands back up and throws three more punches. Frieza dodges all three, then tries to punch him. Piccolo swerves out of the way and kicks him in the side of his ribs. Frieza grunts from the pain and elbows Piccolo away in annoyance. He shoots a more powerful and large ki blast, but Piccolo knocks it away and blitzes forward. He punches him in his chest and causes some considerable damage. He kicks him back and follows with a barrage of punches and kicks. Frieza falls back several meters, about 10, and gains a lot of injuries. His breath is also significantly intensified. Piccolo stands against him with no hesitation, then shouts, it's over! Then launches a massive one-hand energy wave. Frieza gets hit by it head-on and is forced to hold it with his bare hands. Piccolo then uses both hands to enlarge the energy wave significantly. Frieza gets overwhelmed by the energy wave and Piccolo seemingly wins. The smoke dies down and Frieza is seen to be majorly injured. His whole body is bleeding with burns and cuts. He says, you think you're strong, just you wait. Piccolo raises his hands and says, whatever you do, I can beat you. I'll wait. Frieza then begins transforming into his third form. Once he finishes his transformation, Piccolo's confidence does not fade. Piccolo pulls back his hand and the ki blast grows in the same place. He says, don't want to move? Okay. He launches the ki blast with all his might and Frieza knocks the blast away. Frieza smiles and says, you're so weak. Piccolo clenches his fists and takes off all of his weighted clothing. He says, now it's time for me to go 100%. He powers up and Frieza doesn't budge. Piccolo flies at Frieza and throws a powerful punch, but Frieza blurs out of the way and punches him up into the air. He launches several ki blasts up to him and causes masses of damage. Piccolo is basically panting and he is greatly wounded. Frieza flies and kicks him up really high. He flies past Piccolo, then kicks him down to the ground. He dives down with the falling Piccolo, then punches him further into the ground. Piccolo slams into the ground and gets hit by a massive ki blast. This causes even more damage to him and makes it so he can barely get back up. He stumbles out of the dip made in the ground and gets back to his feet. Frieza lands gracefully and says, didn't I say you were weak? Vegeta, with Krillin and Dende, tells him to hit him and heal him. They reluctantly carry this out and Vegeta receives a massive Zenkai boost. He stands but doesn't believe he is a Super Saiyan. This is because he believes that Gohan is one. He's never liked that Gohan has been able to be one without him, but knows that he could help him take down Frieza and avenge the Saiyan race as a whole. Frieza, with everyone down and low, transforms into his final form. Vegeta says, there is another Frieza, another much stronger than any of us. He will come and defeat you. Frieza says, oh will he? And is he a Super Saiyan? Stop with your fantasies, Vegeta. Vegeta smiles and says that smile of yours will disappear once you see him. He is stronger than any Saiyan, stronger than me. Frieza is a little interested but says he will still be no match for me, whoever he is. Because Vegeta and Gohan haven't been being healed and getting stronger, he doesn't notice that Dende could be a vital force for the group. Frieza raises his finger to him and says, goodbye Vegeta, your dreams are over. He launches his death beam, but someone knocks Vegeta out of the way. Gohan. Then Goku lands next to him. Goku stands and says, it's over Frieza. Frieza smirks and says, is it? Is it really? He stands and lightning strikes him directly. He doesn't seem affected at all. Gohan has a power level of about 1.5 million and Goku about 1.8 million. This is because they weren't injured as much as Goku was in canon. Their power levels are great, but this is still nowhere near enough to combat Final Form Frieza. They're lucky he is suppressing his power, because if he wasn't, it'd be over already. Goku then uses Kaioken times 5, putting him at a 9 million power level. Vegeta stands and says, the Super Saiyan. Gohan says, what? Vegeta says, become the Super Saiyan you once were and defeat Frieza. Frieza launches another death beam at Vegeta and it lands in the side of his chest. He spits blood and falls onto his back. Gohan says, Frieza! Goku flies towards Frieza and punches him away. He knocks him back with his elbow, then flies to be positioned behind him. He tries to land a close-up ki blast, but Frieza pushes his hand out of the way and kicks him forcefully in his gut. Goku spits blood and he tries to pull out from his grip, but he can't. Frieza is about 10% strength as of now, raising his general power level to 12 million. Not his max power, yes, but more than enough to handle Goku at this level. Goku gets thrown into the ground and his aura fades. He is moderately injured, but he manages to get back up. Frieza lands in front of him and says, your power really does impress me. I do commend your ability, but this is nowhere near enough. Goku says, and that's nowhere near my full power. Frieza smirks and says, good. He kicks Goku back and he soars towards the group behind them. Dende heals Vegeta again and he gets his power level up to about 750,000. This is still too little to put him into the heart of the battle. Goku spits blood and grasps his chest in pain. Gohan says, Dad! He turns back and clenches his fists. He says, I won't let you get away with this. His hair starts to flow and his eyes turn to a cool blue colour. He says, as I healed I got stronger, but I also got more control of this. Vegeta smiles and says, the Super Saiyan. Gohan roars and his aura blasts out. He gets cloaked in a powerful and pressurizing golden aura. His hair turns to a bright golden colour and his muscles also gain some more mass. His power level is now a whopping 75 million. This is much more than Frieza is expecting. Vegeta laughs and says, it's over Frieza, say goodbye to your empire, say goodbye to everything you've accomplished and built. The Saiyans win in the end. Gohan walks forward towards Frieza, but Frieza has no fear in him. He flies towards Gohan and lightly punches him in his face and he just eats it. He barely moves and just punches him away into a hill. He causes the hill to crumble, then Gohan launches a ki blast into the pile of rocks. After this, Frieza is revealed with some major injuries. Gohan says, it's time to end this. He sweeps his leg back then begins the onslaught. He flies at Frieza and destroys any mass of rocks or grass in his way. He punches him into the sky then flies up towards the Mad Tyrant. Frieza hasn't been expecting this, so he received much more damage from that attack than he should have. He increases his power to his ordinary 50%, but Gohan still has the advantage. He has the same advantage that Super Saiyan Goku had against 100% Frieza. Gohan launches a one-hand energy wave up towards Frieza. Its golden glow brightens up the surroundings as if it's the sun, and Frieza takes it head on. He pushes against it, but is constantly being pushed upwards. He just about manages to swerve out of the way of the energy wave. Frieza's hands are literally smoking, and he has several burn marks across his arm. Frieza says, you dare make me exert myself to this extent? Gohan flies up slowly and doesn't reply. Frieza says, don't think this is the maximum of my power. He tightens his fists and Gohan merely waits. Just like Goku, he thinks he's already won. On the other side, Dende has been getting Vegeta to a higher power level. He manages to get to a power level of 3 million, literally just abusing Dende's power. He's stronger than Gohan and Goku's base, but he has no transformations and is therefore far behind. Krillin is reluctant in doing it, but he wants any power that they can get. Vegeta thinks, how can a low-class Saiyan be able to be a Super Saiyan when I cannot? This should not be possible. He tries to power up and Krillin says, I think you should just stop, just let Gohan win. Vegeta says, quiet Baldy. His hair flows, but he has no glimpse of transformation. This is because of his cold heart. He will have no chance of becoming a Super Saiyan right now. Gohan waits patiently and Frieza's muscles buff up. He reaches his 100% form and Frieza laughs coldly. Frieza soars upwards and raises his hand. A huge death ball grows above his head and Gohan launches a bunch of golden ki blasts into the ball. He merely makes it bigger. He thinks, what? Frieza throws the ball into the ground and causes the ground to cave in. Goku, Dende, Vegeta and Krillin all fly up once they see the ground is caving in. Frieza says, we have 5 minutes before this planet explodes, Saiyan. Gohan says, no. Frieza says, "You should have finished me off while you had the chance." He swats Goku away into a pile of rocks and launches a massive ki blast towards him. Gohan is forced to take the hits and receives masses of injuries. Frieza flies down to Gohan and punches him across a small island. Unluckily, a bunch of lava travels up from the sea and propels Gohan into the air. Gohan receives a lot of cuts and burns after this happens. His hair falls and returns to black and Frieza says, "Be gone!" He raises his one hand and prepares to launch an energy wave, but Goku blitzes towards Frieza with Kaioken times 20. He holds onto his arm with all his weight and says, "Stop!" Frieza pulls his hand back with ease and punches Goku to the ground. Vegeta says, "Frieza will prevail again. Why? Why does this have to happen?" Krillin says, "Calm down, Vegeta." Vegeta says, "Be quiet." His hair starts to flow and he thinks, I can't do this anymore. I won't be reigned by anyone else. I am no slave. I am Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans." Goku then notices that Vegeta's power level starts to rise. On Earth, Kami rounds up the Dragon Balls and wishes back Guru and the people killed by Frieza and his army. King Kai communicates with Kami, saying for all those that aren't Frieza or Namek to be teleported to Earth. However, Goku intercepts this and says that they will be just fine. Vegeta's eyes go blue and he says, "Frieza, you will bow to my knees. You will not get rid of the last of my blood." Goku glances back at Vegeta, knowing what is about to happen. He smiles and passes out. Vegeta then roars louder than anyone they've ever heard before. The screaming power outputted shakes the planet below his feet. His hair switches to a bright gold and he stares down Frieza. His power level is now 150 million, well above Frieza. He flies up to Frieza and right after this Dende flies over to Gohan to heal him with Krillin. Vegeta says, "I, Prince Vegeta, I'm a Super Saiyan. Do you not see what happened to the other one? You will all end the same way," Frieza says. He punches Vegeta in his face but he doesn't budge. He grabs his fist and smiles. He kicks Frieza back and dives down to him. He punches him into the water then soars down into it. The water literally paves a dry path for him and he launches a close-up ki blast into Frieza. He grabs his tails and throws him up and out of the water. He flies up and out of the water then punches him up. He pulls his hands back and cloaks in a purpley golden aura. Vegeta says, "Prepare for the Super Gallic Gun." Gohan is healed and his power level raises to 2 million. He goes Super Saiyan once again and charges his very own Masenko. Vegeta says, "Die!" The two attacks soar towards Frieza and he gets hit by both attacks. They combine and form a very powerful mass of energy. His body shreds and he is launched into the abyss of space. Frieza ultimately ended up meeting his destiny in his journey to avoid it, falling to the hands of a Super Saiyan. So that will conclude the third part of What If Gohan went Super Saiyan against Vegeta. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. This has been my favourite part so far. More parts are certainly to come as I've already done a lot for them. If you guys liked the video, I'd appreciate if you liked or put in the comments what you liked about it or anything that you want me to improve on. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.